Hi, this is Krishna Merchant, and thank you for joining us for the corporate roundup. It was an exciting week this week with a lot of action in terms of stocks and also corporate news. We have with us CH Krishnan, who's going to take us through some of the highlights in this week. So, Sun Pharma was in focus. The stock fell around 5% on Thursday after the US FDA imposed a ban for the Gujarat plant. Tell us how will it affect the company and was the reaction on the stock overdone?
Yeah, as you said, the stock fell almost, I think, more than 5% on Thursday, and again it fell on Friday by around 3%. Though this particular plant, which was banned by USFDA at Vadodara, is not exactly very significant for the company because it contributes almost 1% of the total sales for the company. The alarming thing is that going by the history of FDA inspections and warning letters in India in the recent past, if the instance is repeated within the group, within Sun Pharmaceuticals, which is going to be an alarming thing for the company because in the earlier cases, FDA has banned three plants, at least four plants of Ranbaxy laboratories in a series, which caused a very significant revenue loss for Ranbaxy laboratories. Almost the entire US sales was dropped during the last 4 to 5 years for Ranbaxy after the US FDA ban. And if the same kind of a series of ban happens in Sun Pharma's case, again that is going to be a very panicky situation for the company, which is the largest one in terms of market cap in Indian pharmaceutical industry.
So that was on Sun Pharma and the impact of the US FDA ban. Another company which was in focus was Tata Power for its rights issue. We have with us Malvika Joshi for the same. So Malvika, tell us, Tata Power is coming out with its rights issue and it is completely underwritten by Tata Sons, I believe. Can you tell us what exactly, why they have underwritten an entire issue before it's come out?
Yeah, so Krishna, the rights issue for Tata Power is going to open on March 31st. Interesting thing is that it is the issue has been fully underwritten. 50% of the issue will be underwritten by Tata Sons, the holding company, and the balance 50% will be underwritten by a clutch of merchant bankers. Now, interesting thing to look at is that usually. A rights issue is subscribed by the promoters up to the percentage that they hold in the company, which in this case Tata Sons holds about just 32%, but they'll be underwriting up to 50%. So this is a very rare case where the promoters are actually stepping in to underwrite an issue to more than what they are actually holding in the company. This, according to investment bankers and analysts, what they're saying is that it could be that we are in an election year and financial institutional investors may not be in the right mood to put in money as far as power sector is concerned. We know what kind of troubles the sector is actually going through, and another thing is to instill some confidence in the investors that the promoters, the parent company is also increasing its stake in the company. So I think that's the reason why they have fully underwritten it, and the promoters are stepping in to save the rights issue, because back then 2008 we have seen big rights issues of Hindalco and Tata Motors getting devolved. So I think it's a precautionary measure that they have taken.
So that is about Tata Power's rights issue. Another stock which was in focus this week was Infosys. The stock tanked on Thursday after Narayan Murthy said that the guidance for next year would be at the lower end between 11.5 to 12%. We have with us Zara Khan. It was a shocking statement by Narayan Murthy and the stock tumbled. So is the theory of Infosys turning around under NRN thrown out of the window now?
Hi, Krishna. Thank you for having me. So, yes, on Wednesday at Barclays Investor Conference, Mr. Narayan Murthy did say that the turnaround strategy and Narayan and Infosys coming back on a growth track might take longer than he had expected. He came back, to Infosys in June last year, and since then he has been charting this turnaround strategy, which is a part, which says that it'll take 36 months before Infosys come back on the growth track, etc. But what's important is that. the next day, the very next day, Infosys, which has rallied a lot since Narayan Murthy came back, tanked around up to 9.1%, and a lot of analysts who were, giving it a buy and an upgraded status went back on their word and said that it might correct further, and they've given it a sell status. So it's important to watch out. However, analysts are being cautious, and they're saying that the top level exit, this mass exodus of top level management, which happened at Infosys, is one of the major concerns for the company, and they have been losing a lot of clientele because of that. And Shibulal also said in the conference that they have benefit from a lot of automotive clients. However, the retail and the consumer clients are not spending a lot. So we will just have to wait and watch.
Thank you, Zara. So, the way the stock reacted, it shows that the Infosys turnaround may take a longer time. Also, another story which was in focus this week was the developments surrounding MCS, SX, and NSEL. We have with us Anirudh Raskar for the same. So, Anirudh, can you tell us what are the latest development in the multi-commodity stock exchange and the NSEL case and the CBI inquiries related to that?
Yeah, on Thursday, the CBI basically launched a preliminary inquiry against Jignesh Shah and the former SEBI chief CB Bhave and one of its whole-time members KM Abraham and another FTIL entity in relation to the grant of a license to MCXSX, which was given by SEBI in 2008 to MCXSX for currency derivatives. So this is just a preliminary inquiry, but interestingly, what happened on Friday, that is today, after a board meeting at MCXSX, the chairman GK Pillai, who was appointed in November for basically ring fencing the stock exchange from the NSEL payout crisis, stepped down, and he was taken over by Thomas Matthew, who was the former LIC acting chairman. What seems that, and at the same time, while this was happening, at the same time, you see the shares of FTIL and MCX2 have been plunging on the stock exchanges, and the trade volumes have been suffering on MCXSX. It is very difficult to say now where the how the events will progress from here. But what we believe, what we learned from sources, is that there is a support, there is a discussion between SEBI and the finance ministry to basically take the exchange, stock exchange, out of this crisis to prevent the disruption of the market. We have to wait and watch how things proceed from here, because the CBI inquiry is also on. It's not yet over. So we have to wait and watch the situation from here.
Thank you, Anirudh. So that's all for the corporate roundup for this week. Stay tuned to livemint.com for more updates.